Welcome, history lovers. Before we dive deep into one of the most dramatic chapters of English history, make sure you're ready for the ride. Grab a drink, get comfy, and prepare to travel back in time to the era of royal power struggles, bloody battles, and political intrigue. But before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to join us on more exciting journeys into history's greatest conflicts. Now, let's kick off the story of the Wars of the Roses, a battle for the throne that changed England forever. Ready? Let's go. The Wars of the Roses was a series of bloody civil wars fought for control of the English throne between the rival houses of Lancaster and York. The conflict spanned over 3 decades, from 1455 to 1487, and left a deep scar on English history. But what sparked such a brutal struggle for power? What was at stake for the throne of England? And how did this war shape the future of the monarchy? In this video, we dive deep into the struggle for the English throne, examining the causes, key battles, and the key figures who defined this conflict. The outcome of this war would change the course of English history forever. Let's begin this dramatic journey through the Wars of the Roses. The origins of the Wars of the Roses lie in a dynastic dispute that had been brewing for years. The rivalry between the Lancaster and York houses began long before the first battle. The House of Lancaster, symbolized by the red rose, was descended from John of Gaunt, the son of Edward III. The House of York, represented by the white rose, was descended from Edward III's second son, Lionel of Antwerp. The conflict escalated during the reign of Henry VI, whose mental instability and weak rule created an opportunity for rival factions to vie for control. In 1455, the first battle of the Wars of the Roses was fought at St. Albans, where the Yorkist forces, led by Richard, Duke of York, clashed with Henry VI's Lancastrian supporters. The battle marked the beginning of the bloody struggle for the throne of England. After St. Albans, the war quickly escalated, with both houses fighting for dominance across England. The Yorkists, now led by Edward IV, scored a decisive victory at the Battle of Towton in 1461, the largest and bloodiest battle of the conflict. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the Yorkist army defeated the Lancastrians in a brutal day-long battle that left thousands dead. Edward IV was crowned king, and the Yorkists seemed to have secured control of the throne. However, the Lancastrians were not ready to surrender. Under the leadership of Margaret of Anjou, the wife of Henry VI, the Lancastrian forces launched several more uprisings. The war became a series of back-and-forth battles, with shifting allegiances and unexpected turns. With his victory at Towton, Edward IV solidified his position as king. His reign, however, was fraught with challenges. As the Yorkists secured control, they also faced ongoing uprisings and internal struggles. Edward's most significant challenge came in the form of the return of Henry VI to the throne in 1470. The Lancastrians, with the help of former Yorkist supporters, managed to briefly restore Henry VI as king. But in 1471, Edward IV decisively defeated the Lancastrians at the Battle of Tewkesbury. With the death of Henry VI in the Tower of London and the death of his son, Edward IV secured his reign once more. The return of Henry VI to the throne in 1470 was a short-lived victory for the Lancastrians. The instability of Henry VI's reign and the divided nature of the Lancastrian support base made it difficult for them to hold on to power. In 1471, Edward IV's forces decisively defeated the Lancastrians at Tewkesbury, effectively ending their challenge for the throne. Richard III, Edward IV's brother, continued to rule after Edward's death. However, Richard's reign was short-lived and ended in the final battle of the Wars of the Roses, the Battle of Bosworth Field in 1485. Following the death of Richard III at Bosworth Field, Henry Tudor emerged victorious and became Henry VII, founding the Tudor dynasty. Henry VII's victory marked the end of the Wars of the Roses and the start of a new era for England. By marrying Elizabeth of York, the daughter of Edward IV, Henry united the two warring houses, symbolised by the red and white rose. This union brought stability to England after decades of civil war and ushered in the powerful Tudor dynasty, which would rule England for over a century. The Wars of the Roses left a profound mark on English history. While the fighting may have ended, the consequences were far-reaching. The rise of the Tudor dynasty brought political stability, but it also ushered in a new era of centralised power. The legacy of the Wars of the Roses is seen in the subsequent reforms and changes to English governance, as well as in the emergence of the powerful monarchs who would shape England's future for centuries. The Wars of the Roses were a defining chapter in English history, full of dramatic battles, shifting alliances, and the rise of a new dynasty. Though the conflict was brutal, it ultimately set the stage for England's future prosperity and political stability. What do you think was the most significant impact of this long and bloody struggle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more untold stories from history.